Test, test, 1, 2. K9PQ, standing.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to Cougar Mountain, which is a crossband repeater, and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. Also, to find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. Also, you'll find a link to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. Well, with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway. Again, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Signed into the net by video link already is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, 87NP, Carlos, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. If there's anybody else wishing to sign into the net. Hearing none, we'll start off the net with Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. This is Ron, KD7QKU. So I couldn't hear you, Dave. You didn't have your camera on, and so you were only going out over the radio, I guess. I usually listen on the TV. So anyway, let's see. What am I going to talk about? Well, we went down to down here at Point Defiance Park. We saw on TV there was a plant that had only blooms once every 20 years, some kind of a leafy cactus thing, and it had this stalk that stuck up in the air 5 or 6 feet high. So we thought we'd go down and look at it. Well, we got down there, and we've been to the rose garden before, but we've never been to the zoo or the aquarium. And so we looked around in the rose garden. A lot of roses were in bloom. It was just beautiful. It smelled good. And then I saw some guys working, so I went over and talked to them and said, "Whereabout is this plant that everybody's supposed to see?" And he said, "Oh, it's in the zoo. So you have to pay, I guess, seniors, if you buy a ticket online, it's $22 a piece, and if you buy it at the gate, it's $25. So Joanne and I decided that we didn't want to spend $50 to see this cactus plant that really hadn't bloomed yet, but they say it's going in the next week or two. So anyway, we didn't see it, but we did see a lot of other beautiful flowers. They have dahlias, a garden of dahlias. Of course, they're not blooming yet, and then they have irises, and they have roses. You know, many roses, and they were all in blooming. Not all of them, but you know, a lot of them. It was real pretty. So we spent an hour down there, I guess, wandering around. I should have taken my camera, I guess, but I didn't. So anyway, I'll turn it back to Net now. KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Now let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Good evening, and nice to hear everyone on tonight. So, oh, I had to take off the headphones. I get it about 10 seconds delayed, just enough to really mess it up for me. I am going to switch over from you just staring at me and a blank wall to a slideshow of my Ireland trip. Um, I did say I was going to do more with this. I kind of forgot about it. And so just a few minutes ago, I added, it's so easy to do. It's something everyone using OBS should check into it. It's if you have pictures collected as I do from my Ireland trip, I picked out the ones I liked and put them in their own folder. You can just select a folder and it will do a slideshow of all the pictures in that folder. So that was that's a pretty nice thing to be able to do. Um, I'm not going to try to describe them all, but it's just pictures I've shown before actually, and just some of the ones that I liked. Almost all of them are from the West Coast, and like there's a national park there, which are the ones that I think are showing now, and then there are some others as well from different places. So well, yeah, it's been kind of a busy time. There are things going on with the club. Our WARA thing came back to us. It was a long time in coming. We sent it off a long time ago, and it got into their spam folder, and they were just got around to cleaning out the spam folder and saw it. So it's nothing serious. A couple of minor details. So we're going to reply, and everything should be fine. Um, and but yeah, otherwise, with the house, there's a showing on Friday, so that's nice. Just learned about that today. A request came in, and so of course I said yes, and they confirmed it. So I will be having someone come by to take a look on Friday, and it's very slow. You know, it's just a trickle of people coming in, but they're still coming. So I mean, that's the only good side. And you know, as the saying goes, it only takes one. But the other saying is it's a numbers game, and our numbers are very low as far as people looking at the place. So it makes it much less likely for, or a very, how do I put it, a smaller chance that out of those few people will find a buyer. I would love to have people coming in every day, but hey, it is what we've got going here, and we're just going to see how it goes. Okay, that's good for starters. I'll send it back. I forgot about the 2-minute thing, but you sound, if I remember right, it just leaves a little gap, so you can guess what I said during that gap. Back to
K9PQ, thanks for that. Now we'll move on to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's move on to Wade, W7ITL. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Again, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's see if we can pick up Jim in Covington, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, the television repeater is acting up here. I did not hear a word that Ron said, and Bob's transmission, I heard one word. It was When Ron was transmitting, I saw 3 different still pictures, and then when Bob was transmitting, I saw it changed maybe twice. No, maybe it was half a picture once, and then it changed to another half. But the top half of the picture, mostly I saw a pasture with 2 sheep in it, and the bottom half I saw Ron, except his head was chopped off just above his eyes. So, and right now it's kind of a mess that I'm seeing on the television repeater. But oh well. Well, let's see. Nice day today, working on honeydews, and I couldn't make it here on Saturday. My wife decided shortly before the net that there was something she forgot to do. I asked her, hey, what's going on for tomorrow? And she said, oh, we're supposed to do this thing, and she forgot to tell me. And so I had to run off and do some shopping because she was supposed to provide food. And, meanwhile, she was doing something else in preparation for that. So I wasn't here Saturday, and right now I've got no video at all. Well, yeah, I have a messed up video from the television repeater right now. So we'll see if I'm going to stick around here. But otherwise, beautiful day out there, and it looks like this week is going to be spectacular as well. Prepare your air conditioners for the weekend. They say Sunday might get warm. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. lost my transmission of pictures, but I've got audio going out. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. I'll pause momentarily in case anybody's trying to contact the Western Washington Amateur Television Society on OBS on the internet. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
I don't hear myself on 2 meters, but there I am, popped up on 1.2 gigahertz. So I'm not hearing anything on 2 meters tonight either, just so everyone's aware, kind of on the same page. Let's see, Ron, wow, what a prickly situation there. You couldn't get to see the cactus. Maybe it'll go better once it blooms, but of course then they might raise the ticket prices too. You got to watch out for that. I think you're pushing far beyond my limits of what OBS does. I'm still on OBS on my phone. I don't really have a good machine that's running OBS right now. But Bob, just think about what Harvey Epstein could have done with that feature, or maybe he shouldn't. I don't know. And let's see, other spiritually shattering events occurred to me this week. I found out my 30 or 40-year-old, whatever it is, MFJ dual band SWR watt meter that I inherited from my father. The Nano NVA is saying that antennas, running 2 and as high as 4 or 5 on the standing wave ratio, and the old watt meter, barely moves. It says I'm like 1.1. I think maybe that's kind of like a size 8 dress. I don't know. But at any rate, I've come to the conclusion that it's true. A man with one finely crafted Swiss watch always knows what time it is, but a man with 2 finely crafted Swiss watches is never sure. Anyway, the Nano NVA has been a great deal of fun. I've really enjoyed it. And it just hammers home the point how little I know or how much I've forgotten in the last 30 years. It just does so much. Next time round I have a question for the group and on that topic. But for now, let me turn it back to Dave. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Back to our net control. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, thanks for that. Well, let's move on to Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hills.
Okay. Sorry about the delay. I wasn't fully ready yet, but now I am. And hopefully the audio is flowing also. So apologies that somehow the echo link is not working tonight, and so there's no way to
read through the echo link for the folks that are transmitting on the DATV. That was unexpected. And so let's figure out runs the echo link portion, maybe does a repeat every night. It was good to see both everyone else before. And Dave was coming in and off on the repeater also, and I think I'm having the same problem. So I don't know what's going on at the repeater side. On Bob, worked really well. The pictures were coming through, so good quality. James, I don't know exactly how to do that on phone, but I think it's also possible. So I'll play with that and see what to do there. Good but busy week here. I did some more progress on my CNC experience. I'm getting ready now to my next project is to make sure that I drill into the threads for entry screws or I was able to do that on some samples. Yeah. Holes on the right place, so that's my project for the weekend. And I'll have some more to share on the next run. I'll probably move to the lower frequency. One is not working. But for now, I don't think it's possible to go straight to the meter. And Jim, from what I can see, the TV repeater is on the same power. So I don't know if it's the temperature or the solar that are happening that are kind of impacting the propagation. So back to
Thank you, Carlos. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. As I said, for some reason I don't seem to be transmitting a picture this evening. I was able to get a picture in just prior to the net, but for some reason it went blank. Also, Carlos's picture was breaking up with audio also during that transmission. Well, for me here in Lake City, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Got 67 degrees and sunny outside. So we're getting to have daylight for our nets up till 9 o'clock, it looks like. Well, I went to the dentist today, got my teeth cleaned. That was kind of non-eventful, I might say, but that project is out of the way. Also, I finally found something that cut through the pollen that was left on my car. I used simple green, like 1 part simple green to 20 parts water, and it seemed to dissolve off the pollen very well in cleaning up the car. So I was very excited about that. So my recommendation, if you can get a hold of some simple green, it does get through that pollen. But then I found out this afternoon, grass is pollinating now. So I had a dusting of grass on top of the car, on top of all of that. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So I'm going to pass it back on to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, good evening to everyone. I think I forgot to say that last time. And Bob, you might be happy to know that The house next door has been on the market, I think, for about a month now. And they had an open house today. I don't know if anyone came or not. But the owner, who now is staying down in Oregon, was talking to Joanne. And she sort of indicated that there only been 3 people that looked at the house in a month. And that could be true, because I sure haven't seen anybody going over there. So I guess the market's pretty slow. We get a report from our real estate agent, Josh. He's John L. Scott. And he sent me a report. I looked at it, but I was going to look at it again. He said, I think in Pierce County there were 788 houses for sale. And of course they range in prices from 350 to 2 million or something. And it seems like the houses in the, $500 to $600 range, there was quite a few of them, 300 and some, I guess, for sale. So her house is in that group, so that it's the largest number of houses for sale. So people have quite a few houses to look at, I guess. And they're talking about it being warm this weekend, so I guess I'm going to have to turn the sprinkler system on. When it gets up to 80 degrees, the front yard, topsoil must not be very good. It dries out in spots and turns brown quite fast, so I guess I need to do that. Oh, and I text Wade and said, where are you? And he texted me back and said he had another engagement. He would see us on Saturday, so I guess Wade's not going to be with us tonight. So, I guess that's about it for this time. Joanne's out in the kitchen baking chocolate chip cookies or something. I can smell them, so you know where I'm going to go in a minute. So back to net, KD7QKU.
DATV thanks with that. Let's pick up Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
Okay, hi again, everybody. Well, I didn't take as many notes as I wanted to. Let's see. James, yeah, I can imagine that would be a tough thing to do on the phone. Yeah, I think you need to join the 21st century and get yourself a computer that can handle OBS. Uh, let's see what else. Simple Green. Dave, thanks for that. I have never tried. I maybe bought Simple Green once. I might have it in my garage, but I never have tried it. So I'm going to try it for that, for the getting the pollen off the car. I've had to park my car outdoors because in order to get the house ready to show, I not only put a lot of stuff into storage, but I put it into I put a whole bunch in the garage as well. So my garage is full of stuff, and I can't park there. First time I've parked outside every day for quite a while, and I was kind of worried about the. Oh, I'm going to switch over to the slideshow I showed last week, but at least it's not the repeat of Ireland from just the last time. Oh, where is my timer? I don't see the timer showing. Oh, there it is, 70 seconds. Okay. Looks like maybe I already tripped it once. Um, so yeah, I the lost my train of thought. The Simple Green, I'm gonna try it out. Because yeah, the car's looking pretty crummy. The worst it's looked in quite a while. I need to just wash it first, and then I'll try the Simple Green too. Um, and one other thing I've been playing around with is with AI. Certainly, Carlos, not to your level yet. I'm just using still the free Chat GPT, but there's one thing you can do that's pretty cool. If you have a document, it can be in text format or PDF. You can upload that document right in your session to ChatGPT, and then it will use that document for any kind of special information you might want to have. So I uploaded for the role playing games that we play. We have these source books, and I uploaded a source book just to see what would happen, and it did a good job. I asked it to make an encounter and gave it some details, and it pulled it out of the book, and it did a good job. So that's kind of a fun thing to do, and much like the slideshows in OBS, once you know what you're doing, it's very very simple, and it's kind of a fun addition. So okay, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Get a quick ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Let's go to Covington to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Yeah, Carlos, I saw several snapshots of you. Yeah, that might be a good guess. The solar activity has been a little bit strange. I would like to think it dissipated, but probably not. Hasn't done that quickly. We certainly did have a couple of nights, maybe 3 nights, where the aurora was visible. I didn't see it from my location. I have too many trees obstructing my view of the northern sky, but that's probably a good guess. And let's see, Dave, dentist. Everyone knows how much I love going to the dentist. I have a nice dentist whom I like, but I just don't. I have this thing about dentists. Simple Green, thanks for the tip on that. When Ron was transmitting, I heard 12 words, and I got several snapshots. I did not count the snapshots. Bob, it was looking good when you first began transmitting. There were several seconds when I got absolutely nothing, and then I had a full screen picture of you, Bob, and but I only got less than a dozen words. And in fact, right now my screen is showing the repeater site. Looks like about 3 different pictures of the repeater split horizontally. So that's where that is. So I think I'm going to call it a night, and we'll try again on, on Saturday. Anyway, yeah, I got to do something at my site too. Well, thanks everyone. Good night. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
Thanks with that. And we'll get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be transmitting a picture this evening, but audio is coming through the video repeater. So let's move on to James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue.
Okay, there I am. All right. James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Dave, I too will say thank you for the simple green tip. I have been experimenting with all sorts of things to try and get this pollen stuff off one vehicle I own. And the last time I did a pretty good job in the vehicle, I ended up just using a scrubby pad, which probably is not great for the clear coat. I can't imagine it is, but I was able to get it off with that. But if I could get something that could just dissolve the pollen off without damaging the clear coat, then that would be certainly much, much better. So let's see. So thank you for that tip. The other thing I wanted to ask people, if anybody else on the net's had any experience with this, Carlos, maybe you have, is I realized that a lot of my little handy-talky whips would screw right into the side of the Nano NVA vector analyzer. And wow, I got some really bad standing wave ratios out of those antennas. I mean, we're talking like 5 and 6. I've been told none of those antennas are really that great, but even I was surprised that they were really that bad. Some of the antennas, I need to get a female to female, so that I can screw them onto the side of the analyzer as well. So that's yet another little connector that I need to obtain next time I order something off the internet. But I'm wondering if anybody else has had experience with that at all. So that's something that really kind of surprised me. I didn't expect them to be great, but I didn't expect them to be that awful. Didn't measure any other antenna parameters. I'm just trying to take sort of one measurement parameter at a time. The box does so much, I figure I really want to learn one and get to know it before you move on to the next. And I did calibrate it before doing a lot of these testing. I understand that's a common mistake with these boxes. You do have to calibrate them for the exact frequency band that you're working with. And the only two bands I've been doing any work on are 2 meters and 70 centimeters. So if anybody has any information on that, I'm all ears. Let's see, I have 7 seconds left, so I think I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Dave. This is James, WU7N. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, thanks with that. Let's go to Carlos, AD7NP in Clyde Hill.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see if this one is more stable. This is 87NP from Clyde Hill. And I'm both on the DVB T trans. Seems to be stable, and I've turned on my 2 meters at the same time. So just going through the. Sometimes it's called grounding the LLM into some specific knowledge. It's called RAG, R-A-G, which is retrieval generation, which basically you're telling the LLM to bias the results and the answers to the questions on the documents that you And in fact, that's what's used also on a lot of the projects these days, because it's base that you're working on, or whatever documents that you have, and it's a fantastic way sometimes to find information that is hidden. You know, I use something similar. Tell the AI to look at the manuals and then ask, hey, what's the best way of doing something? Or even right now I'm considering an HF antenna that I want to buy. I was thinking about the Step IR here from Bellevue, but they announced that supporting the amateur products, and so they won't have that line of products anymore, which is and so I look at the different documents from different antennas on and then I asked the AI to put some comparisons together and kind of table and pros. Oh my gosh, I don't know why the video keeps stopping. As we were just looking at the propagation, I went and looked at 20 meters, and it's quite open. I mean, there's a lot of activity and definitely some excitement. And I think the VHF contest is approaching also, so that should be fun. And on the James, on the oops, sorry, I had just timed out on the 2 meters. On the nano VNA, is that can really impact. And I don't get a good reading. A device that I put on my spectrum analyzer, and that's the one that usually I trust the most to measure the antennas, and it does a slight job. Or I have an antenna analyzer, and in fact that's my preferred device. What is the brand? Sorry to go off camera. I have a Rig Expert device, and that's my preferred measurement of antennas. And so in the end I use this one, the Rig. All right, back to Dave. Net control from 87 NP.
87MP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Well, I'll get back to that simple green and washing the car down. I hosed it down pretty well with a hose, sprayed the car, got it all wet, and then as soon as the seemed to dry out the water from the hose, I could then see the pollen again. So anyway, I hosed it down with a cloth and the liquid and rubbed that back and forth, and I took out quite a bit of took about 2/3 of all of the pollen down off the car all the way around. But then I sprayed it down again with water. Then I noticed, oh my gosh, there's still about 10 or 15% left. So I went back to those spots with a simple green and eliminated that. And then by the time I rinsed it down again with water, that seemed to take care of it. It worked fine. So I was so proud of my car. It sparkled nice and brilliant. So when I went to the dentist today, I parked it in the dentist parking lot. When I came out, I think the same bird that jumps by James' car likes the color of my car. Right in the center of the top of the car, splat. And it was sort of, I gotcha, a statement to me. You think you had a shiny car, but now you don't. So anyway, that's my story, what happened with that. So I'm going to send it back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU here. Thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU here. So, Carlos, you were breaking up again on your audio and a little bit on your picture. Not nearly as bad as you did last time. That antenna analyzer looked pretty significant. It looked like a nice piece of equipment. Um, my son, with this artificial intelligence, has turned into a poet. He uh, he writes poems now. I don't know exactly how he does it, but he gives it some information and then it puts a poem together. And he's written some pretty nice ones. Of course, he makes sure when he sends them to people that he tells them that it was he generated on AI, so they don't think he's actually a poet himself. And then getting on to antennas, I was going to tell Wade, when I first started out, on amateur television, Norris brought over a 20 centimeter parabolic dish that he made out of one of those aluminum saucer dishes that the kids slide in the snow. And he made a hole in the center and he stuck in a piece of PVC pipe, and on the back he had a little L bracket, and he'd taken a radiator hose clamp, and then he could just, and the coax went through the PVC and you could just move it back and forth until you got the best spot, and then it worked fine. Well, I don't know, I had that antenna for a while and then I gave it away or something. I ended up, with a looped Yagi like everyone has, but once upon a time I built what I would call a corner reflector. So it was, uh, kind of V-shaped. It was flat in the bottom of the V, about 2 or 3 inches, and it was made out of solid aluminum. It wasn't made out of tubing, it was solid aluminum. And I drilled a hole in the center and put a PVC pipe, and I put a bracket like Norris had, and then I didn't know the dimensions of the little bow tie that he had on the front, to pick up the signal. So I just made it up from what I remembered, and then I focused it, and it worked really good. So I really, Wade was saying that he had that reflector or that parabolic antenna for $4, and it was off frequency a little bit. I don't think receive has to be right on frequency, personally. I think that it will receive anyway. If you're transmitting, I think you have to be right on. And I remember that corner reflector that I made when Bill Broxson, and Dave might remember this, kind of joined us. I'd taken it over to his house. His radio room was upstairs, and we set it up upstairs in the house on a tripod, and it received a pretty good picture. And he lived up on Greenwood Avenue, up above, Aurora over there on Greenwood Avenue. Don't remember the cross street. I'm going to say it was around 85th or something. Dave probably knows for sure. But all the way from Cougar Mountain, it received a pretty good picture. And I don't know whatever happened to that antenna. Whoever got it or whatever. Maybe I used the aluminum out of it for some other project. I don't know, but it worked pretty good. So I don't think Wade, needs to worry if that antenna's off frequency a little bit. I think it'll still receive just fine. Okay, that's my 2 cents worth. What time is it? Let's see, I guess we're getting on. We got a few minutes left. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
For an ID, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the '08 machine. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ, and Bothell.
Well, I did go to Bill's place. By the way, thanks for the reminder of Bill. I can't remember his. Oh, whoops, headphones. I don't remember his call, but I did go look it up on Google Maps, and his place was just off of Greenwood on 75th. And the reason I could say that for sure is there was a church. He lived right next door, I believe, to the church parking lot. And yeah, getting up there to, I mean, he was an elderly guy, and he would climb up those stairs, and they were tight. That was a tight fit to get up those stairs. Those were not easy stairs to get up to get to his shack, but he did that. Um, so I have one more. I did this actually since the last um, transmission. And before you'd sound too impressed, I'm just picking out all the ones that I already put into folders, which aren't that many. I think this third one is probably the last one where I'd selected out pictures and put them into a folder. But I might do that more now that I can do this little trick here to transmit them to you guys. So yeah, this was a ferry ride I took to Bremerton over in the daytime and back at night. I think it was probably visiting my sister, who was staying at her daughter's place. Her daughter was out of town, and I don't even remember why that was happening, but I went over to visit her. I think that was that time. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on here. I don't have a lot more to say. I mean, I did make. I don't cook at all. I have like about 3 recipes I do, and one of them is called baked eggs or eggs for 8, and it's eggs and jack cheese, cottage cheese, butter and flour, a little bit of flour, a little bit of baking powder to just give it some lightness, and you literally just bake it in the oven, and it's fantastic. And so anyone wants the recipe, I'll happily give them the recipe. Oh, I do have one last thing to say. Let me make sure I'm just about to get the pause. So I'm going to pause here and wait for that to go by. Although maybe it did. Okay. Anyway, maybe it did go by. Sorry. I know there's a delay. Um, so we have this meeting this Saturday is going to be a very important meeting. So it's not something we're going to rush through. And Jim and 7QO, if there's any way you can make the meeting, please do. We can try and accommodate you, come up with some way for you to make it, or maybe you can, go to Richard's place or something like that. But I hope you can make it. I hope everyone can make it, and we'll see you then. K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Northeast Bellevue to James, WU7N.
But I would just like to say thank you again to everybody who's put so much time, energy, and effort into this system, because it really does work amazingly well, even with a few hiccups tonight. Carlos, thank you for the pointer to the rig expert, the AA-600. I'm hoping that this Nano NBA can do something. It's right now. I was also going to use it for some filters that I'm building. Ooh, I'm a tiny little square in the upper right-hand corner of K9PQ's screen. I wonder what happened. Anyway, so I hope it's good for something. For $80 whole bucks. Of course, I remember using one that was the size of a half the size of a Foot Locker and cost considerably more. So I guess I shouldn't complain whatever it can do. No more step IR equipment for amateur radio operators. My goodness, this is just an evening for bad news. I had not heard this. Someone mentioned to me that step IR was selling stuff to the federal government, like for console buildings and things like that. So maybe they just found a more stable, lucrative avenue for their product. But I'll have to get online and look to see what the news is on that. If anybody has any more news on that, I'm all ears. And birds, yes, Dave. I think the birds know me, and they know when I wash my car, and they seek me out. I used to just say, well, it was just sort of happenstance, but I'm convinced I'm a target at this point. So with that, once again, I have a tiny little screen on the low latency system, and W7ITL, something from W7ITL has appeared. Okay, well, anyway, maybe this is a good time. And Wade is waving his hand at me now. And now I'm back to a full screen. Anyway, 20 seconds left. That's a good time. Good cue to have me turn it back to Dave on that control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Anybody's welcome to join us. We meet 8 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays and Saturdays on the 08 repeater. Take it away, Dave.
Good evening, this is Dave again, KD7ZYM. And we noticed that Wade has signed on to the net. Let's see if we can pick him up. W7ITL. Again, let's see if Wade is with us. W7ITL. With that, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's go to Carlos, AD7NP.
No. Maybe. Sorry about that. It's gonna take a while until it stabilizes. This RF transmission goes, and so that little icon that you saw there. So I'm gonna just change the transmission. Give me just a minute. Stand by. Not lucky. So 87 in. So when you see that that little square, it's a feature that at some point we'll spend some. And so he was able to take a portion off the screen, and you're on the other portion. I think Bob commented on the stream that he wasn't sure how that happened. And then second time, Dave also started his stream, and that happened. So that was what's going on. Yeah, clearly not a very stable reception. Only Ron's signal was strong enough today. So even with this 55, does not look like the image can be. IR, as I published the announce there on Discord, they accept orders until. Like, who's going to order something if they're not going to support in the long term? And so now I'm looking at the Italian version, which is the Ultra B, and see what that makes. James, you mentioned the SWR meter. Market to find one, I recommend this one, which is a digital one. It's the called Nisei, and basically in the back and it goes all the way to 525 from HF to 525, so it's pretty good. I like this one. Back DATV Net control in case we're still able to get someone else into the network. And this is it from 80.
NP, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7CYM. Well, the repeater's being rather persnickety tonight anyway. Bob's images came up fine. Ron's came up fine. Ron had a little bit of hiccup on audio, but Bob was perfection. It didn't break up, and good pictures, and the overlay that he had with pictures worked out very, very well. And N7QO's audio came across okay. However, he's not transmitting pictures at this time. And James, WU7N, his pictures were stable and looked very good. The audio came across great. Couldn't complain with that. And Carlos was a little bit broken up here and there. So anyway, that was kind of interesting, although this picture did come up. As for my image, it just seemed to have gotten lost. I was able to get a picture out just prior to the net with a test, but that's about it. So it's time to sign off the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. On the 08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. On behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, terminate the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening, all. Again, this is